Hi, everyone. Shauna Robinson, Wellness A to Z. And I am so excited because I have my homeboy, Eldrick Garcia. Does that sound stupid? I just called you like, I've never used that word before in my life. Like, I've never called
Well,
you that. Like, you're a friend of mine. Like, I don't have many straight male
I'm her
friends.
homeboy.
Yeah, like when I start talking to straight dudes, I don't like it's so weird to me. So sorry, they call me the fairy gay mother. So like yeah, it's crazy. But anyway,
Don't even trip, girl. It's all good. Homie, homeboy, friend, amigo, whatever
yeah,
works.
so I am so excited because Eldrick is a relationship coach and he is so helpful. Whenever I have, dude issues, because again, I'm not around straight dudes that often. So I get, I get rabies mouth. I get like, I can't speak. Like, I just, it's like, which is, I know hard for people to believe, but it's true. Like I get so like ridiculous. But anyway, so I'm so
It
excited
happens.
to introduce you, and I love that, he asked me if he could wear a beanie, and he's also wearing a jacket. It's like, I feel so honored. But he is a relationship coach, and it's uncanny, you guys. He is so good.
Thank you.
But anyway, I mean, like, you didn't start as that, but it's just this, like, natural thing that you have. So talk to me
Oh
about
yeah,
that,
most definitely.
yeah, like, you coach people, and it's just like people gravitate towards you because of it. So how did this all get started? How did you realize, like, I have a knack for this?
You know what? Just growing up, seeing how much my mother helped people out with love and compassion, and she was very religious. So her thing was that she prayed for like everyone and anyone, like whether you met her at the doctor's office, the grocery store, whether you really wanted it or not. She was like, it's not going to hurt. What's the problem? Believers, non-believers, and so I saw that growing up and how much she loved people and helping them out. And so that's something that's heavily instilled in me. That's the core of my coaching is leading with the heart. And I originally started helping people with entrepreneurism. I have a business that I started with my brother back in 2013 from a Kickstarter project, and so I got excited about that and wanted to help others with that. And but then I was running into more people that were needing help in with love and relationships, and you being one of them. And so I after so much of that, and after so many people tell you like, hey, you should do XYZ, and so it was, you really should help out in relationships more, or you should be a relationship coach. And then that's when I realized that not everybody wants to start a business, be an entrepreneur, have a side hustle, or get out of their 9 to 5. But I feel that everyone wants to love, be loved, have love, share love, and it's a top human need, and so that's what I want to help out with.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and I mean, especially right now. And I mean, we met in a coaching group, and I remember the
Correct.
first time getting on the phone, and that you were working with entrepreneurs, and you were just
Mhm.
like, I don't know, man. And like we talked for, I think the first time we were on the phone, it was like 2 hours, and it was just
Yeah, I
like
have a
we could go
tendency to do
together
that.
forever. Which was, and but it was like we literally like everything. It was just
Mhm.
everything kind of, got talked about. And that's, when you were like, I don't know, I'm kind of playing around with this relationship love coach. And I was like, dude, you just like solved all my problems in literally the space of, short amount of time. Please do that.
Thanks. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And you're very good at it. And now,
Thank you.
we're in this weird time, right? Like we're
Mhm,
all, this stay at home order. We're all, hopefully all of us are complying with that. Um,
mhm.
so dating is challenging, I mean,
Yeah.
there's obviously apps, and this whole conversation between us and like how we decided to do this, episode of Microdose was you and I were on the phone the other day, and I was like, I went to the grocery store and there was a hot dude in the grocery store and I'm wearing a mask. How the fuck do you flirt with a mask on? Like, I already have no game, as everyone can tell. So, like, how does that work? Like, I'm just like,
You got the shit covering half of your moneymaker, right?
right. I know. I'm like, I did not learn how to smize. I don't know. And like, do I need to like, Kardashian eye, like smoky eye? Like, what do I do? And people
That's
are
a start. The Kardashian smoky eye is a start, and then learning how to do smiling with the eyes. Those are 2 solid tips right there.
I see like the search smizing, how to smize on YouTube is going to go like through the roof.
That should be my next video right there. To, no matter what the situation is, there's still always a way to communicate. I'm a big fan that love is the number one language in the world that we all understand, hear, like. So if you, I'm gonna give a quick example. Do you remember? Because I'm a big Disney fan. Used to work at Disney. In the Little Mermaid,
Mhm.
when she doesn't have her voice, she trades it for the legs. And so she has to use body language, right? So we got to get resourceful when we get things taken away. You know what I mean? We put more bandwidth towards one thing when it's taken away from somewhere else or whatnot. So, example, you're wearing a mask. You're at Trader Joe's or whatnot, Whole Foods. You see somebody attractive. You know they probably got a mask on too. And so, what's cool about that? There's a focus of the windows to the soul. That's what I immediately see when I see people covered up like this, right? And so it's a great opportunity to focus on those. You know what I mean? It's like you're not distracted by their smile, their teeth, their lips, good or bad, any acne, anything that could be going on there. Like right here, you know, that this is one of the most beautiful parts of the body, and we get to engage in that immediately. So you get to connect with eye contact, right? One of the basic ways to connect with somebody. And then I love using humor. You know, who doesn't like you know, good humor? Me, I'm very cheesy. You know, I still use one liner pickup lines with my wife. So I suggest that to, you know, call out the elephant in the room. Call out the
Do
mask.
those pickup lines work? I want to stop you. Do they still work with your wife?
You know, they make her laugh, and
Okay, well,
she
that's
knows
good. I mean,
because she
you
fell in
guys
love with
been married
my
for a while, so that's good.
yeah, we've been together for 10 years now, married for 9. And so as my cheesiness is what, as much as she like rolls her eyes, that's what she loves about me. As long as it's genuine and not like pickup artist bullshit stuff. It has to be you. It can't be forced, right? So it has to be like natural. So and Shauna, you're I love your sense of humor. You're very sarcastic and straight face. So you know, I could see you going in there and be like, that's a cool mask. We should switch, you know? And then right there, they'd be like, what? No, I'm not switching my mask for health reasons, but like it's a disrupt and it's an attention grabbing comment to say as simple as that. Like, hey, we should switch masks or, or just, you know, get detailed about it. Like if they have like a lot of people are wearing what looks like those ninja looking masks, right? Because the N95s aren't available and some of these medical grade ones. And so you'd be like, oh, wow, that is such a cool ninja mask. Like, how does it feel to like be a ninja in Trader Joe's? Like, right? Like, who would respond to that?
I mean, I would totally respond to that if somebody said it to me, but in that moment, I was just like, "Oh my, okay." Like, I'm wearing this mask, and all, and of course, I'm like in my quarantine chic.
Uh-huh.
Well, like I have nothing but like elastic waisted pants. Not that I need to be wearing jeans, but
Uh-huh.
it is interesting, and what you were saying about like, and I always say scarcity provides clarity, which is
Mhm.
what you're saying. Like, something was taken away from us. Like we had,
Right.
yeah, who knew that going to the grocery store, like it's forever changed. Um,
Mhm.
and so, yeah, now how do you flirt in the grocery store? And so now we know, like let's switch masks, or, you just authentically say something. And I do like to, kind of that deadpan that is totally my jam for sure.
Yeah, and a hint for you and all the ladies out there. A majority of men in the age group of like late 20s to even to like well and beyond, right? They grew up in a time in the 80s and 90s where ninjas were really cool. And so and then video games and so if you go to the grocery store and you're looking like a character from Mortal Kombat and your eyes are really pretty, that's going to trigger with them things that they grew up with and like certain media. So like that's actually to your advantage. You know what I mean? You could be a sexy ninja to these guys and not even know it, thinking that like, oh, I'm covering myself up, I'm not looking appropriate and right. That's actually brownie points. That's
Okay.
actually
Yeah,
a
so I
pro.
need to add some more eye cream to my Amazon cart because, like, we can't be getting gross. I just spit too.
Yeah, you
Like,
know what? If we can't get the eyelashes done and the injections and the other treatments or hair, like yeah, get resource.
I don't do any of that shit, mascara. But okay, so note to self: eye cream, and all right, I've got to work on my one-liners. So that's
Your
one
makeup right now is like great the way it is. You don't have to do like full blown smoky Kardashian eye, like because with this covered up now, it draws attention to just there's only half of a face to pay attention to, and you got a little bit going on there, and you already have beautiful eyes and eyebrows and like big beautiful hair. It allows people to call out what they might have overlooked before. But go ahead.
And
Sorry.
thank you. You should, I mean, like outfit wise, I'm like, it's fine, but just this, everybody is great. So that's one way to meet people in this quarantine time. Like, what are your thoughts on like online dating or apps? I mean, I know that, you've been with your wife for a long time. So I know that you didn't necessarily, that was kind of not really prevalent but like, what do you
Yeah.
think about that now? Because I still am like, oh God, it's just terrible.
That's a Pandora's box right there because online dating uh goes back to the days of like AOL chat rooms, instant messenger. It slowly evolved. There was a Wild West time period with MySpace, and I experienced zero of that. And it's interesting because as techie as a background that I have, not so much now, but I thought that was just so weird. Like I was about human connection. I met my wife in Vegas at a super club. So right, very traditional. However, if you think about it, and if it's done right, if it's done honestly, and you put up a legit profile and you're there for the right reasons, and what's cool is that they have different apps now. Because before it was just like Plenty of Fish and then like eHarmony and people were faking the funk on Christian Mingle and some people are getting burned and whatnot. And so what's great, there's so many out. There's one for everyone. You know what I mean? There's the casual dating. There's the straight hookup ones. There's for gays. There's there's something for everyone now. And so I like the idea because it allows people to kind of fill it like a resume. And it will connect somebody like with the right person, the right applicant. But as long as people are really honest and on the app for, if you want to just hook up and fuck your
It's
brains
not
out,
that
go
right
go to
now.
Bumble, right?
You can't even just be doing that. Like, I mean,
Well, going
you
back to the quarantine question, right?
yeah, like, I mean, that's, that it's kind of hard. I mean, there probably are people that are doing that, but like, you really shouldn't be doing that. We're staying at home. So, you've got to be like, your witty banter has got to be on point, like, or else, I
You
mean,
know what? Because this is all we have now. Speaking of being resourceful,
yeah.
there's a show on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, but it's like Love Is Blind, I think
Oh,
it's
I
called.
watched it. I binged the
Okay.
shit out of that. Terrible. It was the never gonna get that time back, but it was so good. My friend and I were watching it, and we were like, "Oh my god!" I mean, just it was a train wreck. But I mean, the it is kind of where we are. I mean, yes, we can use video chat, and so you're not sitting in a room and just getting to know someone sort of blindly. But yeah, dude,
Mhm.
we were like proposing to people after like a day. I was like, "What?"
That's because what that phenomenon is that I forget the exact name. It's losing my mind right now, but it's allowing people to connect on a deeper level. And I was just watching like another show like that on Netflix called Too Hot to Handle, where all these like gorgeous, sexy people come and they think they're gonna have a month of like crazy partying, and then it turns out that they are not allowed to kiss, have sex, or any of that, or else it deducts from $100,000 pot. And so the whole concept is for them to get to connect on a deeper level, because that's what has happened now, and they talk about that in the show. Is that in the age of swipe left and right and likes and curated images on the internet, there's a lost sense of like what people, real human connection and accepting people for who they are. And so when we are forced to keep our distance, socially distance, and this is the only way we communicate. It allows us, it gives us the opportunity to connect at a real level, something really substantial. And that's something that I experienced with my wife, because I met her in Vegas, but turns out she lived in Northern California. I was in Southern California. We're 6 hours away on a good day of right now. The traffic, I'd get there like 4 hours, no
Yeah,
traffic.
yeah, literally. Just
But at that time, it was very challenging. You know what I mean? And then on top of like, I'm working full time. She's a full time student. All this other stuff. She had just turned 21, so she's like, really learning a lot and coming into her own. I had just like lost a home, and we both came out of big relationships. So it was good that it gave us the time to get to know one another through. At that time, it was text messaging, email, and like Facebook Messenger. And it kind of sounds cheesy, but if you guys remember the movie You Got Mail or Sleepless in Seattle, it
on
like that
TV.
shit really
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
It really happens because instead of just lusting over the body or the physical touch and that type of intimacy, there's a different level of intimacy where you get to really know character traits, personality, and you're forced to ask questions and talk and really dig deep. So the chat right now is a good time to set up for when you go out on your first date. Like if you did anything like the way my wife and I did it, like we were talking for like a month just on through phone and all this other stuff. And this was before video chatting and all that. So it was old school. And by the time we finally saw each other, that was the true test. And that was kind of, we were both nervous and we talked about it because we were like, well, what if it isn't what we thought it was?
Yeah.
And so, but that, at least you get all that out of the way. That usually comes afterwards. Usually you meet somebody at a bar, you get drunk, you hook up, and then you figure out afterwards if they're for you or not. But then some people, are like, I got what I wanted, or I was just looking for fun. They don't even give it the chance. And then, you miss out on something that could have been, a strong relationship. So
I I think that's totally accurate. I mean, we are forced to get to know each other differently now. So that's interesting. I still don't know that I want to give that whole swiping shit a try. I think that it's just, I don't know.
you
Although,
know what? I would learn. You could Google like best dating apps in 2020. There's a huge list of like 20 of them, and it's amazing, like the kind of niches they have and what kind of audience they're looking for. And I would most definitely check it out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of free ones, so like as far as money, like you don't have to worry about that for right now. What's really cool is what is it? Is it I forget what it is, but it's like the Sadie Hawkins of dating apps, where the
that's
girls are the
Bumble.
ones that's Bumble. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
that was like purely fucking hookup.
I mean, they
Yeah.
probably
So
all are at some level, right? Like, I think that, in some way, shape, or form, they probably all are, but, are,
yeah, you got people leaking in and doing whatever they can. You know what I mean? And so you got people picking up people at the library and the grocery store. Like you'd be
yeah, wearing
surprised,
the
right?
mask. That's how we're
Yeah,
going to,
right. Trying to
what are
find
your
your sexy
thoughts?
ninja.
Yeah, the sexy ninja. I should just change my Instagram handle, to that. Just kidding. So speaking of Instagram, thoughts on sliding into somebody's DMs? Because it's happened to me where
Mm.
somebody has slid into my DMs. Not
Wow,
like
that's
like a few people.
uh-huh.
Mm,
Well, congratulations.
thanks. Yeah,
And
not bragging.
it's and I want to say it happens more to women than anything. It's kind of going back in the day with if you believed in cavemen, that that women are to be chased. Traditionally in society, men are to be the aggressor and the one to advance. And to me, it's everybody carries feminine and masculine energy. So as far as sliding into the DMs, it's natural for people to do that. I love hearing about women going after men and sliding into their DMs. I don't like how dirty the term has gotten, because it kind of associates immediately into like sexting and all that, and that's what sucks, that women are victim to a lot of dick pics, unwanted, unasked for.
Always, and you're like, I literally don't need this ever.
Yeah, so like I save that for the dating apps, everyone, not just gentlemen, but
Actually, just don't. Just it's a hard no.
like there should be some permission and a build up, just as we were talking about, like with quarantine and social distancing and what these reality shows. When you slide into a DM, like try to be a lady or a gentleman about it. That chivalry isn't dead. It's just been on the back burner. Um, you know, Come in with and something more than a hi to. There's a lot of noise and static, and just like what we're talking about with the mask, not you got to be the most clever person, but you might want to start first by engaging on their content. Like show that you really like what they're doing, that you're interested. Comment on a couple posts. Ask some questions there, and then something, this is kind of tactical, but like you could message a post back to that person. So let's just say, for shits and giggles, Shauna, you post something, right? I message it directly to you, and I create a conversation instead of like a hey, what's up, what you doing, age, sex, location, ASL, right? um,
That's
Message that
an
person.
acronym I did not know. Age, sex, location.
Oh,
That's
that was a huge thing back in the AOL Yahoo days. They would just ASL, and you were supposed to put your age, sex, and location. That was like the icebreaker. That was the start of the
I
conversation.
was today years old when I learned that. By the way,
Back to this little tiny tip here. So let's say there was a piece of content that really resonated with me and that I really like that you expressed, and I want to talk to you more about it, because now it's like, okay, you know what, we have something really big in common here. Like I want to talk more about it, and whether it's going to turn to a business relationship, a romantic relationship, or just a friendship, because as a relationship coach, it's all relationships. So I'd send you that post, and then be like, hey, this was really cool, or in your own language too. I really found this fascinating. I got a question on this or whatever. And now it's just you two, instead of being like lost in the sea of comments and everybody else that's going on. And then like, I'm sure you as a woman, you would appreciate that more than like a, hey, what's up? Or you're hot, or like, and I'm sorry that I'm even using that voice. I'm getting very
No,
stereotypical.
no, but
What
that's
do you
how
think
I read
about that?
them. And now I'll probably only use that voice when I read any, if and when somebody slides into my DMs, I'm just gonna use that. Why not? You got to give them a character, But no, I think that that's good advice. It's good guidance. Like show that you're interested, be engaged. Just like in the store, even with or without masks, pre or
Mhm.
post COVID, you comment on somebody like, I really like your shoes, or, that top is,
Yes.
or, oh, wow, look at, what you have in your grocery cart. I really like your kale. I don't know. But like, I mean, you do pick out something. So I think that that is, that's what we have right now. And so I think that that's really sound guidance as
Yeah,
per.
instead of going straight for the kill, and it could, you don't know who's touchy and sensitive, or let's say sensitive, not touchy, or just to certain approaches. You know what I mean? Just because somebody like gets glammed up doesn't mean they're necessarily asking for attention. You know, that just could mean that that's how they like to express themselves, or that's how they wanted to look to feel better. So in the grocery store, you have the option to be like, oh girl, you look hot, or like oh, you hotter than those peppers in your cart,
Right,
like,
yeah,
what
I
I
don't
mean.
want that at the
That
grocery.
exactly, that works for some people. um but something better to be like, hey, you see a couple things in the cart, like, hey, that are you gonna make do you make like really good smoothies with that looks like you're gonna make smoothies, and then, oh, now it's innocent, right? And then, oh yeah, yeah, I do this, and then it's like, oh yeah, well, I like to add this and this and that in there. And then you have a conversation there, and then you could swing into something else after reading their body language, their smiles, or you know what I mean, the cues of them touching, and like, you just when someone's interested or not, for the most part.
Yeah, I'm picking up what
And
you're saying
then you
now.
could go from there. So like, come with some normality, because every relationship, and this, I'm kind of fast forwarding, but every relationship, romantic relationship, should start off as a friendship first. So how do you start off as a friend? Try being their friend first before you become something else, before you get in their pants, before you ask them to marry you, before you whatever want to run off to in the sunset. Like, just think about like, let me try something that I would with a friend, and I think that works very well.
Yeah, get to know them. I love that. That's great. So what are some, so sliding into their DMs, be friendly, just engage with their content. What are a couple other things that people can be doing right now
Mhm.
to, not let their love life stall?
You know what? And I got to be careful with what I'm about to say right now. But we're like over a month in quarantine, right?
We're 5 weeks in.
Yeah. Okay. People are itching like crackheads in more ways than one. All
Yeah,
right. On a social level, on an intimacy level. So it's like, be careful for the people who are going to like try to prey and vulture and use the dark side of this to get at you. But right now, here's a really good opportunity. For those of you who've been meaning to reach out to somebody that you're scared to because of what they're normally doing when America was open, they're at home now. They got time on their hands, most of them, right? And so I think they're more than willing to give a chance, because most people, there's the most screen time ever. Slide into a DM. Get brave. Get brave. Slide into that DM, right? In one of these different ways. I would do something different. I'm not saying like go send some, edible arrangements at their house. Like, you don't got to do all that.
I don't. Yeah, first of all, I don't want an edible arrangement, and that's creepy. I don't like
Especially
melon. I don't like
if
melon. Like they do
eggplant.
a lot of honeydew. I'm not a honeydew fan. So like, come up with something better. You
On
know.
BoJack Horseman, I think they say that that's like peasant fruit or something.
Yeah, I mean, kudos. Like, I think it's clever, but yeah, I don't really like melon. But anyway, so yeah,
Yeah, so to finish up with that, get brave. Um, I think people are open right now. People are doing a lot of reflection, that like right now is an opportunity to do some things you haven't done before, either for yourself personally, or to reach out to somebody that maybe somebody from the past, or somebody that you've been wanting to reach out to. Try it out. So many people are afraid of the rejection, but like, send out like 10 messages, so you don't worry about that one that didn't go through. You know what I mean? It's a numbers game. I attribute people trying to engage in relationships just like sales. Like, you know what I mean? It's like for every 10 you get You get one that's going to say yes. You're at a dance, you're at a club, high school dance, or a prom, or a nightclub. You ask 10 people to dance, one's probably going to say yes, at least. It's just a numbers game. You just got to keep trying, and don't get hung up on the losses. It comes with experience, and you just keep going for it. But like, yeah, try reaching out. You never know what happens. After 5 weeks of them not being able to do what they normally did, they might just respond.
Yeah, totally. Thoughts on reaching out to an ex?
Ooh. I would just be very, 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 very aware of why you're doing it. And I'm
Oh,
getting
I'm not gonna do any of
no,
that.
no. I'm
Like,
talking
I've
to
had a lot of
the
people have
the
asked,
audience.
"Should
I'm
I?" I'm
talking.
like, mm-mm.
If
No.
you're just missing them, if you're just feeling desperate, no. If it's coming out of a place of lack or scarcity or going back to like your old job, think about that. But like, do I want to go back to my old job? You know
Absolutely.
why you left, you know why it didn't work out. There might have been some cool perks, but be very aware of why you're opening that door. Now, if it's something that maybe you felt you messed up, or you feel you guys were in the right place, you feel like the stars are aligned now, or that all your toilet paper rolls are in a good line in your bathroom for this, whatever, just make sure that it's coming from a healthy place, or else it's like living in the rear view. You're just gonna hit something again. You're gonna hit the same bullshit in front of you because you're looking behind you. You're living in the past.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's what I would say to that.
that's smart. Are you and your wife doing, like, date nights, like quarantine date nights to keep things like, like, 'cause you see each
Yes.
other all day,
Yes.
every day?
Oh, Shauna, amazing question. Thank you for asking that. Yes, and I'll get into an example of that here shortly. However, my wife, she's been at home working for over a year now, like a year and 3 months. So she's already been quarantined. You know what I mean? And she is a hustler. She is a boss babe. And so I'm used to her working from day to night. But with this quarantine, her business skyrocketed, right? Because more people are at home doing online businesses, out of work, trying to figure things out. And so she's even more busier now and way more excited than she ever was. And so there's actually been less time between us. So the time that we do get, I make sure to really do something nice with it. It's given me the opportunity to get resourceful because I can't just take the easy way out and take her out to dinner and let them do all the work. Like I took out some takeout pasta. I brought it home. I lit a couple candles. I had some John Mayer playing on the Google Home, or John Mayer, well, one of those guys, and then dimmed
Yeah.
the lights, and I said, "Hey, come out." And she came out, and I transformed the living room, and she really appreciated it. I loved it. And it was getting resourceful. You know what I mean? So, there's things that we can all do. It's like, you got to think about like when you were a kid and you didn't have the latest video game or that toy. And like, what'd you do? You made forts. You put on a towel, and now you were a different person on your head. Like, you have fun with it. Tune into that inner child. And the internet is such a wonderful resource, and there's so many things you could do. You could put on your TV a screensaver of like the fireplace and some romantic music, and just have some wine and talk. At the end of the night about like how was your day? What'd you learn? What'd you do? What are you celebrating? And there's just so much that we can do. So like, yeah, date nights doesn't have to be out, and that's what quarantine is having a lot of people realize these things in us, that just get resourceful, and you could still have that same kind of magic and connection at home.
Um, Totally digressing, but I worked with a
Go
guy
ahead.
who invented the, video fireplace. I
Oh
know.
my gosh!
Time to fame.
Wow,
I know.
he's
I'm done.
probably rich and has gone a lot of ass.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, but that was his invention. I mean, he's done a lot of other things, but no, but I think that that's also, I mean, it's great advice. I mean, we are getting resourceful. We are, you know, what we were talking about, before we started filming, and maybe it wasn't this, I don't remember, but like scarcity
Mhm.
provides clarity, right? Like when things are removed from your immediate purview, and there's an absence of whatever it is, you have to get creative. It's also, it creates a space for things to show up, and like,
Mhm.
just again, get creative. I love that. Any parting words of wisdom or pieces of guidance that like are, we talked about sliding into the DMs and being
Mhm.
creative, and we've talked about like online dating, we've talked about do not reach out to your ex unless you really want to, like, I mean, that's like going back to an old job, which I think is such a good analogy, because I don't want to go back to any of my old jobs. I mean, again, there were
Mhm.
pluses and minuses to all of them. And then also, just how to flirt when your smile is taken away, when you're like, oh cool, like, how to do that. So I mean, any other sort of like just lasting words of Eldrick wisdom that you can impart on anybody? I mean, you've already dropped some serious knowledge bombs.
Thanks, and I'm sorry that I'm hogging up the normal time frame here, but I'm
Oh
having
no,
I'm having a blast here. Thank you for having me on.
yeah, no, it's fun.
Um, that so these are very challenging and interesting times. We've heard the phrase over and over again, unprecedented times. And so uh really right now it's huge on reflection for yourself, what you're doing, for income, what you're doing in your relationships all across the board, romantic, family, personal. Right now is a really good time to figure out what you really want with yourself completely.
Mhm.
It's forced us to all like take a time out and real evaluation on it all. And while you guys are taking this time for yourselves to really figure out what you want in your lives, I want you to think about this, because right now there's a lot of couples that are coming closer together, and sadly there's a lot of couples that are like killing each other right now, or like there's going to be some divorces and breakups that have already happened, that are going to happen at the end of this, is what's going to be sad but true. you know um, but the best piece of advice that was ever given to me at a young age, was to never get stuck on any one person. Get stuck on their positive qualities and personality traits, because you could find those same positive traits in someone else. So going back to the example of going back to your ex, whatever you liked about your ex, you could find that in somebody else and plus more. Because let's say they weren't punctual and they always had spinach in their teeth. I'm being silly here, but you could find somebody
Total
else.
deal breakers. I mean, the punctual piece, yes. I'm just gonna hand you some fucking
Yeah,
dental floss and call it, like, go to the bathroom. But like,
exactly. So if
yeah,
you find a new person that brushes and flosses a little more often, then they're a better version of what is your type. And so far too often we get hung up on once was or what we had, and when you hold on to things for far too long and you don't let go, you're not going to be open to grab what's coming up next. So I really um, you know uh, suggest to people to really think about that, as far as like don't feel stuck. We all have choices, and you could always find something great in other people, but also appreciate what you have, because sometimes we overlook what we have and we take things for granted. So
yeah, I think we're all learning about not taking things for granted right now, like going to the
hmm
store without a mask on. I just,
yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
awesome. Well, where can people find you? I mean, I know you have, we all have social media, so can people find you on the old gram, on other?
most definitely. Besides, I have a bat signal that I shine out every Saturday night from Huntington Beach. No, just kidding. You can find me on Instagram at Eldrick G, as well as I started up a YouTube channel, Eldrick for Real, FOREAL. Podcast is coming soon with the same name, Eldrick for Real, raw and unfiltered. But for right now, you're going to see everything pretty much advertised or announced on Instagram. I'd love to connect with anybody who could use some help. And yeah, Shauna, thank you so much for having me on your
Oh my
podcast.
god, this was so fun.
Good
I mean,
job. Big ups to you, girl. Like you've been the inspiration for me to really kick up my shit.
oh,
So thank
well,
you
thank
so
you.
much.
I appreciate that. No, and I mean, I feel like every time that we get on the phone, we talk about something, it's like we're both like we get lit the fuck up. We're like, all right, we're gonna do something. Like, we're going in all directions, which is really cool. So thank you for being on the show, and the wisdom. I mean, I think we're all kind of like a little stuck. Well, all the singletons are a little stuck right now. Well, maybe not. I mean, maybe people in couples. Anyway, I have diarrhea mouth, so I'm gonna let everybody go.
Oh, you're all good, girl. You're
I
all good.
I'm going to include Eldrick's YouTube channel and his Instagram handle in the notes. You guys definitely follow him. He is amazing. I mean, literally,
Thank you.
like I said, the first time we got on the phone, it was as if we'd known each other forever. He was the one who convinced me to do stand up comedy, by the way, too. So
Oh, and she fucking killed it, guys. Like, please, everybody, put a like, drop a comment saying like, "Where's the video? Where's the stand-up video?" She
I
needs to
guess I
post it.
should put it on IGTV maybe one of these days. But anyway, so
Maybe
he is definitely
one of
influential.
these
He
days.
has good shit to say if you hadn't noticed that already.
I'm
And
just trying to be like you, girl. I'm just trying to be like you.
no, likewise, likewise. Big fan to no one. But anyway, if you guys have any comments, questions, anything for me or Eldrick, drop them below, and I will see you next time.
You guys take care. Thank you so much again. Bye.